for the Amateur Architect Ruler Skills Part 3. If you saw the last video, you saw I was using a permanent marker and it bled through. Bummer. That's okay. So on this first part, we're going to be centering segments, so centering our line segments. So we're going to center a 1-inch segment on each of these lines below. So first we're going to find the center, and then we're going to mark a half on each side of the center. All right, so what we're going to do first is we need to figure out how long this line segment even is. So once we line it up, it's 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, and then it looks like 1 tick mark, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is about 4 5/16. And we want to break this apart into a half. So that means that we are going to divide by 2 because we're going to break it apart into 2 pieces. So the first thing I need to do is turn my mixed fraction into an improper fraction. 4 times 16 and 16, or 4 times 16 plus 5 more. So 16 times 4. So we have 69/16 times 1/2, because we changed and we flipped. So we get 69/32. We can estimate to 70/32 if that makes your life easier, which that way we can divide the top and the bottom by 2 to reduce. So here we would get 35/16. So there's a few ways we can do that. We can leave it like this. We can line it up and we can count out 35/16. So we know that this first one here is 16/16. This next inch, add 16 more. So now I'm at 32/16, 33/16, 34/16, 35/16. So there's my center. All right, then if we read this, we want a 1-inch line segment. So that means that I want a 1/2 inch on one side. So if I were to look at my ruler and take my 1 inch and find the middle, which is a 1/2, and I want a 1/2 inch on the other side of my center, then right here, I have found the center line segment. Okay, next one, line it up. See here, I have 1 inch, 2 inches. It's super close to 3 inches. So we can estimate to 3 inches. And we want to cut that in half, so we want to divide it by 2. Which is the same thing as saying 3, keep, change, flip. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. So this is like 2 goes into 3 one time, 1 and 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and find 1 1/2 because that's going to be my center. So here's 1. And now I need to find the halfway mark between 1 and 2, which is this big line right here. So this is 1 1/2. There's a nice big line right there. And now it wants an inch. Oh, a 1/2 inch. One way. And then we want a 1/2 inch the other way. So if we were to connect these lines, this would make 1 whole inch, which it does. Okay, number 3, I'm going to measure this out. We have 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, and a little bit more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/16. So we can go ahead, 5/16, which is pretty close to like 4/16. we can go ahead and keep it nice and even. You can round up or round down if you need to. So we're going to do 16 times 5 to turn this into an improper fraction, which is 80. And then 80 plus 4 more, which is 84 over 16. And then we're going to cut it in half. Okay, 84 over 16 is my 32. Sorry, 84 over 32. Because 16 times 2 is 32. And now we got to take this 84 over 32 and turn it into a mixed fraction. How many times does 32 go into 84? Probably 2 times. Yeah, 2 times. With a remainder of 20. And then we can even reduce this even more. So this gives me, coming over here, 2 and 10 over 16. So I'm going to line this up. Here's my 1 inch, here's my 2 inches, and then I'm going to count 10 tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, there's my halfway point, which looks about right. And then I'm going to measure a 1/2 inch to the right and 1/2 inch to the left because that's what the directions told me to do. And there we go. Okay, so we're gonna make a door that is centered above the 3/4 from the left side of the rectangle. Centered above the point 3/4 from the left side. So it needs to be centered So first let's find 3/4. Okay. So here I'm gonna look, here's my half. 3/4 is a quarter more. It's the same as saying, let's see, 3/4 for 12/16. So here I would count 12 tick marks. But here's 3/4 one way. And then just to be sure, I'm gonna measure 3/4 on the bottom. So I'm all centered up. Okay, so that's the center of my door. Okay, so if that's the center of my door, the door is to be a 1/2 inch across. Okay, so I want to find the center of the width. So the width is going to be a 1/2 inch total across. So if it's going to be 1/2 inch, we need to cut 1/2 inch in half. So let's do 1/2 times 1/2. Oops, 1/2, I'm telling you the answer. 1 times 1, 1, 2 times 2, 4. So then that means I need to find 1/4 of an inch on the right of the door and 1/4 of an inch on the left of the door. So here's my half. Here's my 1/4. Do the same thing on the other side. Here's my half. Here's my 1/4. Very nice. Sweet. And then I'm gonna find across it is 1 1/4 high. So that means I'm gonna line it up long ways and measure 1 1/4 inch tall. So here's 1. Here's my 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna find my 1/4. Oh my gosh, that's weird. That's right where I lined it up. That's creepy. Okay. Same on the other side. 1 1/4. Okay, and then from there, I can go ahead, find my line, and connect my door. Super weird. Okay, go ahead and connect the top. I've made my door. Okay, Now we're going to center a window that is 2 inches across. So 2 inches across by 14/16 tall or high in the area to the right of the door. So this big area right here. The top of the window is the same height as the top of the door, which is convenient because I'm going to go ahead and just like sketch. This is where my door is, so I can keep it around the same height and I can always erase it when I'm done. Begin by finding the measure of the distance from the right side of the door to the right side of the rectangle. And now we want to mark the center distance, okay? So let's measure from the top of the door all the way over to the top of the rectangle, okay? My door is slightly slanted, but that's okay. So I have 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, and 1/16, 2, 3, 4, 5/16. So this is 3 5/16, and I want to find the center. So this is just like what I did up here. I'm finding the center. So I'm going to cut it in half or divide by 2. So first I need to turn this into an improper fraction. So 16 times 3 is 48. 48 plus 5 more, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53 over 16. Keep, change, flip. 53 over 32, which that doesn't go in evenly, but we can estimate 54 if we need to round it. Okay, we can divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. All right, so if we divide 54 by 2, we should get 27 on the top and we should get 16 in the denominator. Okay, that makes more sense. Then how many times does 16 go into 27? Only one time, with a remainder of 11 over 16. Life makes sense again. Okay, so 1 inch and then 11/16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's my center of my, or the center of my window. So it would be the same thing down here. 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so that's the center of my window. All right, so then it says blah, 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 blah. Then make one mark 1 inch on either side of the centering mark. So here I'm gonna make an inch mark to the right. I'm gonna do the same thing on the bottom. And I'm gonna make an inch mark to the left. I'm gonna do the same thing on the bottom. Just so I know. Okay. Then make one mark 1 inch on either side, and then this is the distance across the window. So now the last thing I need to do is figure out how tall the window is going to be, which it is 14/16. I can also just measure. There we go. Yay, there it is. So now I can connect this with this. And then same thing on the, this window is going to be slightly crooked. It's going to be like Willy Wonka's factory or something. There we go. That's pretty good. I'm proud. All right. Ruler 3 skills probably takes the longest, but you made it. Congratulations.